I am David Longer, and I'm a professor in the Department of Crop, Soil, and Environmental Sciences at the U of A, and I am interested in biological fertilizers. And this whole stop this morning, this whole field trip, actually is about sustainable agricultural practices. What's the world food situation look like in the next 15 or 20 or 30 years? Would you say, I'm going to give you three choices: outstanding, positive, robust, so-so, mediocre, or possibly dismal, and big problems need to be solved? Would it be one, two, or three? How many people think it'd be one? Robust, beautiful, everything's perfect. How many hands? Okay. How many people say number two, it's rolling along okay, it's so-so, everything's fine? No twos? Now, if you don't raise your hand at three, how many say three, it's not okay? Okay. So that's the reason why we care so much about sustainable agricultural practices. There's a lot of money spent in the United States alone each year and in other countries as well. And this is one small way that we're going to address this. And I'm going to talk to you about biological fertilizers today and why they're important and how they're being used. This is a corn field right over here, and this is a research plot. And a lot of this corn was grown with a biological fertilizer, and this is it right here. And I'm going to explain how that works. This field over here is sweet sorghum, and it looks a lot the same. And it's not a crop that we eat directly like corn or feed to animals. We can. This is used to make biofuels, and we're going to talk about how we do both of these things. So we got two stops tied in together. So I want to talk about, I guess the main concept is simply this: waste to resources, municipal biosolids converted to crop fertilizer. Basically, to do that, we have to get a little graphic here, pardon me. And here is our graphic of the day. I went to Lowe's last night, and I was going to buy one of these things, and I was going to put it up on the table. It cost $200 for one thing. I was going to take it back today and say my wife didn't like the color or something and get my money back. But the thing weighed like 150 pounds, and I figured it'd collapse the tables and everything. So anyway, you have to look at a picture. I made the picture instead. So here's the bottom line on the toilet. In the U.S., close to 1 billion flushes each day in the U.S. Each toilet handles close to 2 pounds per day, or 2 billion pounds of waste per day. What happens to that waste? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? That's the one that we got to reckon with. Okay. What happens to all that waste? First, let's define sustainable. What we're looking at in sustainability overall is putting practices into place that can be used over and over again. At the U of A and the Walton College of Business, they're all over sustainability. Well, they don't grow anything and they don't eat anything, they don't produce food. They're looking at sustainable business practices. So sustainability means identifying and adapting processes that don't put as much pressure on resources. You can identify it 100 different ways and they could all be right. Anyway, what we're trying to do here is we are trying to take all of this and do something manageable with it. Right now, every time that toilet's flushed, the material, and Rogers, by the way, that's where you're from, right? You said Rogers? Rogers Water Utility is one of the best operated and most efficient and sustainable facilities in the whole state of Arkansas. So you get a 5-star for that. Okay, so right now, the options are, it can be hauled to landfills. Part of Bentonville's sludge goes to the landfill in Tawnytown every year, and they're charged $51 a ton to dump it in the ground. Just pour it out in the ground. And they have trucks that are running on diesel fuel that have to haul all this tonnage to and from, or not from, but to. It costs a fortune to drive a truck. Every time you start one, it's a 20-ton capacity. It burns up a lot of diesel. Okay, so the landfill, in addition to that, the material in the sludge will seep into the groundwater. It doesn't at Tawnytown. It's pretty well sealed, but around the country, this option is being taken off the table because of environmental concerns, and it's not sustainable, okay? It can be hauled to Kansas or Missouri, where you're allowed to do land applications. So if you drive a truck from the city of Fayetteville and it weighs 20 tons, it's got 20-ton load, and you drive it to Kansas and it's a 250-mile round trip, you come back all the way back with an empty truck, okay? That's not sustainable. It's not a good option. It costs a lot of money, okay? It can be dried, sold to local farmers for fertilizer, of hay fields. That's not bad. And the fourth one can be incinerated and not transported anywhere. You've still got a lot of ash at the end of the day that has to be managed. So let's look at number 3. It can be dried, sold to local farmers for fertilizer of hay fields. And that's exactly what they're doing in Rogers. They are selling that, and they had a farmer this year, or a businessman, that contracted for 3 years of their dried municipal biosolids at $17.60 a ton. Now that's not going to offset their cost of production and their fuel cost for drying it, but it's a step in the right direction. It's not going to be buried anywhere. It's not going to be discarded. It's not going to be burned. It's going to be used on hay fields. So that is a reasonable and sustainable option. You agree with that? Okay. Let's focus on Fayetteville, Arkansas. Here is a map of Fayetteville with a 5 mile by 5 mile by 5 mile delineation. And there's some parts of Fayetteville that are outside that, but that's 25 square miles, okay? And so what you've got here, here's the U of A right here, and here is the Fayetteville Wastewater Treatment Facility, and all this material comes through pipes and so forth right here, and it's right on the White River. And then what they do there, the daily biosolids production is, well, I should say the biosolids production is 25 dry tons per year. And a dry ton has at least 90% of the moisture removed. So by drying it, you get rid of a lot of the handling issues, and it costs money to dry it. It's now called, once it gets dry, a Class A biosolid, and it can be land applied as a fertilizer. It's about 3% nitrogen, about 4% phosphorus, and about 3% potassium. N, P, and K are the 3 primary nutrients that most plants need. It's a good fertilizer for local hay farmers. And what Fayetteville has done is they have a kind of a yearly bid, and they sell theirs for about $20 a ton. Farmers have to come in and pick it up. They haul it off, and they use it for hay fields. And so that's another good option. Fayetteville and Rogers have really done a great job of getting up to speed. Springdale, I'm not going to go faster, Holly. She's back here telling me to go fast. I'm not, if you say that, I'm going to slow down and talk like this. So anyway, those are good options. Those are real good options. Here is some of your dried biosolids from Rogers. And we doctor them up a little bit, and we take them up to 27% carbon, 10% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, 4%, and we produce this product right here, which is being used out here in this cornfield. Okay, so the benefits of municipal biosolids: no environmental damage to the area groundwater, no expensive gasoline-consuming long-haul transport, no tipping fees are charged to the cities. They actually get paid instead of having to pay. Very good source of plant nutrients, recovered and sold as fertilizer. As technology catches on, more local, state, regional jobs were created. Fayetteville's created 4 jobs down at their place from doing this, and that's good, and that will grow. Represents a significant reduction in fossil fuel-based energy usage and reduces reliance upon industrial man-made fertilizers. They are not eco-friendly, and because Holly's trying to hurry me up, I can't tell you about the Bosch-Haber process, which you'd probably be thankful for if you knew what it was.